How's it going, everyone? And welcome to NHL 13 Picks, the 2013 Stanley Cup Playoffs. The way it works in this game is a little bit weird to how it's actually going to work out in real life, as you're going to see. I believe there's a conference reseed, which isn't exactly how it works in like the real NHL, because in the Minnesota Chicago versus the Anaheim Detroit, those two teams are going to play off against each other. Where in this one, it's going to reseed based on whatever. So you're not going to have Chicago play against Detroit. And or like, let's say Chicago and Detroit, when you're not going to have them two play against each other, it's going to be like Chicago and like San Jose, because it's weird. I've tried this 3 times and I thought something messed up, but I'm just going to go with it anyways. This is going to give us the Stanley Cup anyway. So this is the screen that we're going to be looking at the entire time of this, I guess you can say, like, commentary NHL picks thing. It's going to be the playoff tree. You can see the brackets, you can see every seeded properly, and we're going to be able to see the wins and how the teams win. So I'm going to advance the week. We're going to come back, and then we're going to see what exactly happens after the first round of the playoffs. So here's your first round of the playoffs. The Chicago Blackhawks lose to the Minnesota Wild. A little bit weird. I don't think this is going to happen in real life, but hey, NHL's calling it, so that's what they're saying. As you can see, Detroit is going to beat Anaheim, and they're going to move on to play LA, who beat St. Louis, and Vancouver beats San Jose. So your matchups in the Eastern Conference are going to be Vancouver and Minnesota, Detroit and LA. That's going to be your first. That's going to be your second round in the Western Conference. Now let's move over to the Eastern Conference. As you can see, Pittsburgh is going to lose to the Islanders. That's an upset. Both number 1 seeded teams are gone in the first round. You're going to have the Ottawa Senators, and it was a sweep too. There was 3 sweeps on the Eastern Conference. The Islanders swept Pittsburgh. Ottawa sweeps Montreal to play against the Rangers, who win 4-2 over Washington, and Toronto sweeps Boston. So your matchups are Toronto and the Islanders, and the Rangers and Ottawa. So if that's how we're going to look at it, we're going to see. I don't know which teams are going to make it to the Stanley Cup. It's going to be a tough one, and we're going to be able to see this right after this short little break. So here's your playoff tree of the second round. Finished, Minnesota Wild beat the Vancouver Canucks. So you have your 2 bottom teams, because Detroit beat LA, so you have your 2 bottom teams playing in each other for the conference final. Detroit plays against Minnesota for the Cup, for the chance to play against the Cup against the Rangers and either the Rangers or the Islanders, because the Islanders were able to beat Toronto, the Rangers beat Ottawa, and this is how your Cup matchup is going to be. So it's going to be Detroit, Minnesota, the Rangers versus the Islanders for the Cup. So now NHL is calling an all New York Eastern Conference versus Detroit, Minnesota Western Conference. The good thing about this is the teams aren't going to be that tired, because the states are relatively close to each other. I mean, in the Eastern Conference, it's interstate play, but Minnesota and Detroit, Michigan being where Minnesota, they're relatively close to each other, so the travel time shouldn't be too bad. So I guess that's the one benefit of this. But I mean, wow, look at that. The 6 and 8 seed are playing for a chance to go up against the Stanley Cup, and the 8th and 7th seed are playing. So, all those big name players, apparently NHL 13 doesn't think they're going to make it to the Cup. Now we're going to advance to the last week, and we're going to see exactly who gets to play in the Stanley Cup, and then advance that week to see who wins it. So here you have it, the Western Conference Final. The number 8 seed Minnesota Wild beats out the number 7 seed Detroit Red Wings. That's a sad day for all Red Wings fans out there, as I am one. But let's go look at the Eastern Conference to see what happens over there. And the New York Islanders, the 8-seeded Islanders, beat the 6-seeded Rangers. That means for the first time, I think, in ever, is there 2 8 seeds playing for the Stanley Cup. Actually, I don't know. Was last year's Stanley Cup 8 and 8 seed? I don't know. Was Jersey a 7th seed? I think Jersey was the 7th seed. I could be wrong. It could be 8 and 8 last year too. But NHL's calling it. Minnesota and the Islanders in the Stanley Cup final. Upsets completely through. I mean, Minnesota's been tearing it up. 4-2 win, 4-3 win, 4-2 win. You look at the Islanders, swept Pittsburgh, 4-3 win over Toronto, 4-2 win over the Rangers. Who's going to win the Cup? We're asking NHL 13 to tell us. We're about to find out. And there you have it. The Minnesota Wild go on a tangent, push it to 7 games, but come out victorious. The Cup going to Minnesota. NHL 13 called it. This has been pretty much NHL 13 predicts the biggest upset in sports history, between 2 8 seeds in the Stanley Cup final, and pretty much all your big seeds were knocked out except for Vancouver and Ottawa. No, wait, Vancouver and Yeah, pretty much Vancouver, because every other team was below 5 except for Toronto, or like 5 and below. Oh, and LA also, sorry. But yeah, this has pretty much been upset the playoffs. And yeah, so this is NHL 13 predicts your Stanley Cup champion. They're calling Minnesota against the Islanders in the Cup final. If that actually happens, I will, tip my top hat off to this little simulation. Keep in mind that this stuff is not realistic. On any given day, any team can go out and beat anyone. Could we see an 8v8 seed Stanley Cup final? We could. For all I know, it could happen. Do I think the Detroit Red Wings would lose to the Minnesota Wild in 6 games? I don't think so. But that's me being a biased fan. But this is what has been called. So this has been NHL 13 predicts the 2013 Stanley Cup final. Hope you guys liked it. Leave your comments in the comment section below on how dumb this simulation was and how unrealistic it's actually going to be and what teams are going to be, what you guys think. Basically, trash talk the simulation, whatever you guys want to do. The only thing we can do now is wait and see. We can only wait a couple weeks and find out who gets to raise up Lord Stanley's Cup, the best trophy in all of sports. Thanks for watching, everyone.